Hi, everybody. I am Jodi Silverman, everybody. I live outside of Philadelphia in a suburb called Maple Glen, Pennsylvania. For those of you familiar with the area, it's in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. And I am a certified life coach. I'm a speaker. I co-published, self-published a book with my mom for moms to give their college-bound kids, which was a really fun experience to do with my mom. And I'm also the host of an online digital talk show, In the Nest with Jodi. And I'm the founder of my thing I'm most proud of is the Moms Who Dare community, which is a community for moms who have kids in high school and beyond. So you can have kids in high school, you can have kids in college, you can be a grandmom. We're all part of that community. And it's all about supporting moms in connecting, sharing, thriving, and having fun while discovering who they want to be as moms and women during this next stage of life. Because we all know that the empty nest transition and sending our kids off, I believe is one of the most difficult transitions a mom can go through. So that's everything I do. Even the show, I have conversations one-on-one with moms just to share stories because, you know, it's about real life stuff because stuff doesn't end just because the kids left. I am going to start with a question. So when you hear the word, and you can use the chat if you want, use the chat for this one. When you hear the word dare or the phrase dare on, what's the first thing that comes to mind? A thought, a word, a feeling. Use the chat and throw it up in there for me. We've got excitement. We've got strong and scary, courage. Oh, they're all good. They're all good. There's no non-good ones. Push out of my comfort zone. They're all good. All good. And those are the words that I would hope would come up. I will share with you that when I came up with Moms Who Dare, and that daring was part of what I do in my coaching and through my coaching, daring other women and moms out of their comfort zone, it wasn't about the big, scary, scary things. It was really more about the small, little things, little steps, daring to do little things to move us towards a direction of being unstuck and discovering, you know, what fills us, what lights us up inside. So to dare on became my mantra. It became a signature. I started signing my emails off, dare on Jodi. I started doing all my videos. And as I always say, dare on. And the mantra, it's a mantra for me. It's my life mantra. Raise hands for those on video, or you can throw it in the chat. Who uses mantras here? Anybody? I'm looking around. Well, dare on became my life mantra. A mantra is just a saying, a phrase, something to put you in a mental state where you want to be. It can be as simple as, it's going to be a great day today. That could be a mantra. Well, dare on to me is a two-word mantra to help inspire me to dream, face my fears, and give me strength to persevere and fuel my adventures. And that's what I hope that dare on will mean for all of you as you go through this journey of hearing about the 3 steps to creating your daring life. And a daring life is how you define a daring life to be. Your daring life could be maybe making a new friend. Your daring life could mean, you know, going out for a walk once a week, but it's what you define it to be. So did everyone bring pen and paper? Because I want to ask you to play a little game of truth or dare. It's either a little fun or it's bringing back traumatic memories of middle school right now. But on a piece of paper, and hopefully it's not trauma, I want you, because I personally did not like this game, but truth or dare, I want you to write on the piece of paper, for truth, write down a truth about yourself. It has to be kind and positive. Something you know to be true about yourself. I'm going to scroll through and see if I can see more people. Take a minute. And that can be, you know, that you're a loyal person, that you're a fun person, you're a smart person. One truth that you know about yourself. I always like to start out with positive, everybody. It's all about the mindset. All right. And then for the dare part on the same piece of paper, I want you to write down something that you have secretly or publicly always wanted to do or try, but have either been afraid to or you haven't because life has gotten in the way. Something you've always secretly or publicly wanted to do or try, but have been afraid to, or because life has gotten in the way. I like that for the definition of dare, caring and fun. I like that. All right, and then we're going to put that aside and we're going to revisit our truth or dare in a little bit, okay? All right, see, there's two screens here. I want to make sure I'm seeing everybody, okay? All right, so once again, I need you to weigh in the chat for this one. What do you believe is the number one obstacle that holds us back? Meaning keeps us stuck, holds us back from trying something new. What do you believe it to be? We've got fear, 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 time, money. Anybody else? Give it a minute to come through. All right. Fear of the unknown. A lot of fear. And yes, I do too believe it is fear. And when I sat down to figure out what my 3 steps to creating a daring life were, like what were the 3 steps I took that I could share with other women, other moms, to move them forward, to getting unstuck, to discovering what fulfills them, it was fear. But I'm like, well, fear is pretty big. That's a big word. So I nailed it down to 3 types of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, what will others think or say about me? And what Harriet shared in the chat, fear of the unfamiliar. I fear the thing I do not know. Because there was a lot of fear out there, but those were the 3 that I discovered were holding me back from figuring out what I wanted to do. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. So I'm 54 years old, and at 45, my kids were in high school. My kids are 3.5 years apart. So they were freshmen and a senior. My son is the young one. He's 22, Daniel, and Ellie is 25. And just to give you an idea of my nest, Ellie is out living in Philadelphia. She's a journalist. And Daniel came home from school, and he is actually about to begin a 10-month opportunity with AmeriCorps. So I'm the hashtag not so empty nester because he's in the house, but it's all good. He does his own thing. But back then, I spent 25 years in sales in corporate America. And then when Daniel, my youngest, was 2, I was fortunate enough to have the support of my husband. I started my own business in sales. And then my kids entered high school. And I started seeing the writing on the wall in high school as they started getting more independent, especially when they got their driver's license that sophomore, junior year, when I was no longer needed to drive them to and from practices. And then I was kind of a little bit pushed out of hearing the conversations that would go on in the back seat. And I was going through something myself personally. And I remember one day sitting and wondering to myself, so when Daniel graduates and both my kids are gone, is what I'm doing and what I have fulfilling enough? And that question just opened my world. The first reaction I had was I felt very guilty because I have a really good life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with my life. I have a great husband, great kids. I live in where I want to live. But I realized soon that it wasn't about that. I mean, so many women, how guilty do we feel that we have this sense of unfulfillment, but yet we have a lot of really great things in our life. I talked to a lot of women who tell me they felt the same way. But when I realized that what was unfulfilling wasn't my family, my friends, my career, it was my career. It was also this feeling I had inside that I had this voice that needed to get out, but I didn't know what it was. And this feeling that there was something much bigger than selling printing waiting for me. And if anybody feels the same way, shoot it in the chat and let me know that you felt this way. Once I allowed myself to understand that it was okay to feel this way, that's when all my fear started surfacing. And I realized that I had been not looking, thank you for feeling the same way there, Sarah. I had been holding myself back from figuring out what this feeling was all about because of fear. And I have to tell you, at 45 years old, I was still scared of what my mother was going to think about me, right? I don't know if we ever get over that. But as soon as I acknowledged it, it gave me permission and openness to receive opportunities. And an opportunity was presented to me for a different type of business, a direct sales network marketing business. And I said yes. And if anybody here has ever been part of direct sales or network marketing, a huge part of that, if you're open to it, is personal growth and development. Well, I entered a personal growth and development journey that would have me facing all my fears, those three: failure, judgment, and of the unfamiliar. And soon I was really coming to terms with not only my fears, but my limiting beliefs. And I believe that they're all intertwined. So, for example, and give me a wave on the screen if you want, or put it in the chat, or even write in the chat if one of these resonates with you, or write it down if I read a fear and limiting belief that you can connect with. You're afraid you have no talent, or maybe you're just not smart enough. That was one for me because I was not a student and I really didn't believe I was smart enough. You're afraid you'll be rejected, criticized, or judged. You're afraid somebody else already did it better than you. I saw a thumbs up out there. You're afraid maybe you're not going to be taken seriously. That was one of mine. Like, what if I tell my family that I feel like there's something bigger for me waiting out there? They're going to be like, what does that mean, Jodi? Like, what does that even mean? You're doing fine. So I was worried about that. Or that maybe your dreams, somebody might think they're, are embarrassing. Or maybe you're afraid you're too old, or it's just too late to start doing something new. These are all the stories that we can start telling ourselves because fear gets in the way. And fear leads to us abandoning our dreams and even diminishing ourselves and our talents and not giving us a chance. We have one life to live. My mind, let's live it. Let's dare on and live it to its fullest. And you know what? If somebody in my world is going to judge me for it, then maybe I have to reevaluate my association with that person. So I want to share with you because, getting through these fears, it wasn't about punching out fear. I saw all these books on the shelf: kick out fear, get rid of fear, eliminate fear for your life forever. And it wasn't resonating with me. I'm like, how do you get rid of fear forever? Fear is always there. Fear and excitement can give you the same feeling inside. It's the same endorphins. And it just never resonated with me. And I was like, well, how do we do this? And then I read a book. I read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Everybody here might have heard of Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, but a lot of people haven't heard of her book, Big Magic. I picked up that book on the suggestion of a friend. And within the first 2 chapters, it was obvious a chapter of fear. Surprise. And she wrote a letter to fear. When I read this letter to fear, this is how I felt. It changed everything about fear and allowed me to move forward. I'm going to read it to you. And you're also I think you're going to get a follow-up email after this whole chat here. And I gave them a copy of this letter to share with you. So I'm going to read it to you. Fear. I recognize and respect that you are a part of this family, and so I will never exclude you from our activities. But still, your suggestions will never be followed. You're allowed to have a seat. You're allowed to have a vote. Oh no, you're allowed to, oh my gosh, you're allowed to have a seat and you're allowed to have a voice, but you're not allowed to have a vote. You're not allowed to touch the road maps. You're not allowed to suggest detours. You're not allowed to fiddle with the temperature. Dude, you're not even allowed to touch the radio. But above all else, my dear old familiar friend, you are absolutely forbidden to drive. It was that last sentence that got me. I'm like, you know what? It made me become aware of what my fear was trying to tell me. We all know there's fear of, oh my God, you're going to get hurt. Don't touch the fire. That's fearful. Or getting near the edge of a cliff. There's something to be scared of there. But that letter to fear allowed me to ask myself when I felt fear or anxious, because my fear can come as anxiety a little bit, to stop and ask myself, Fear, you're back. I wonder why you're back. And it's generally because I'm getting ready to speak to a group of women online. Or I'm getting ready to speak at a live conference. Or I'm getting ready to create a new course. It's there to let me know. Now I look at it, my mindset is fear shows up when I'm ready to step out of my comfort zone and do something new, exciting, and different. And I'm able to move forward. It takes practice. It's a practice. So I want to share with you the first step. This brings us to the first step in creating your daring life. Are you ready? The first step is decide. It's all about making a decision. I was sick and tired of feeling stuck inside of me. I was sick and tired of worrying about what other people were going to say. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I decided in that moment, and I wasn't aware of it in that moment that I had made a decision, but I made a decision in that moment. It was time for me to figure out what would make me feel fulfilled for me, myself, outside of my family, outside of my friends. Here's a great quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. It's time to decide what you need and want for you to feel fulfilled, to feel like you're living your daring life. So I want you to look at your dare that you wrote down on your paper. And I want to ask you this question. Looking at the dare and reading it, what is one small step that you can take today or tomorrow towards that goal, dream, or desire? Towards that dare, towards achieving it. What's one small step? I'm going to let you think about it, and I'm going to share. And I usually share an example of the step I took for my first dare. Give it some thought. I'm going to scroll through here while you're thinking. All right. Do we have anybody brave enough who wants to share their dare and their one small step? And you don't have to. I won't call you out. We'll keep it confidential. I won't say any last names. Well, while you're thinking about whether you want to, oh, there we go. All right. I don't even know what I want. I think I use disability as an excuse not to decide. All right. All right. I love the honesty. That's self-aware. It's a beginning. So when I started my Moms Who Dare group, it wasn't called Moms Who Dare. It was just a Facebook group. And I heard a woman named Luann Khan speak at a women's event. And she was speaking about her book, which she gave us all a copy of. It's called I Dare Me, How I Dared to Do Something New Every Day for a Year to Reboot, Recharge, and Get Unstuck. It was like a drop of mic, boom, drop of mic moment for me. I sat there, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. I've been daring, not every day, but that's what I felt like. I felt like she kept talking about this daring and stepping out and daring and doing. And I'm like, I'm a mom who dares. And when we left that conference, before we left, she passed out a card and had us write down, similar to your dare, what is something we've always wanted to do? I wrote zip line. I wanted to go zip lining. And I am not that daredevil of a person. You won't catch me jumping out of a plane, but I wanted to zip line. And my family, we were going to be going to Jamaica soon. And I knew I wasn't trying to zip line in Jamaica first. That wasn't happening. So for me, it didn't happen for about a year. But then what happened was I decided to take the first step when I was ready, when things opened up, because I had a little hiccup in there. And my card was always in my office. I'm sitting in my office here. My card was always on my board. I have a bulletin board here and another board there. And I'm like, I got to go zip lining. So my first step was to do research online and find out where locally there were zip lines that I could feel not so scared to go. And my search led me to a little zoo called Elmwood Park Zoo. And if anybody's from my area, they know it's a great zoo, but it's a little zoo. It's where little kids go. I'm like, I can do a zip line in a little kid's zoo. That I can do. So that's what I mean by one small step. My small step was research to find the place. Well, once I found the place, and once you do take your first step, you got to move to step 2, everybody. And you all know what step 2 is. Wait, I'm going to scroll here because somebody said it. I'm going to look at that here. Well, I can't find it, but step 2, step out. Step outside of that comfort zone, because here's your comfort zone, and there's times to stay there. But stepping out of it right here, that's where the magic happens, everybody. It's where the fun starts. Yes, it's scary, but it's exciting too. And stepping out of your comfort zone means you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, everybody. I mean, it's just, I wish I could tell you it's going to be easier, but you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So the stepping out part is when your fear is going to come up again. And it's going to be like your fear on steroids. Every one of those limiting beliefs, oh my God, I'm going to be embarrassed. Oh my God, somebody's going to laugh at me. Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm not brave enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. Whatever it is for you, it's going to happen. But the only way to truly feel fulfilled in life is by stepping out, stepping into all that discomfort. And let me just share something with you, what I've learned. Your kids are still watching. Your grandkids are watching. We're always here and they're always learning from us. And isn't this what we've taught them to do? When they're homesick and they're scared and like, oh, I don't know if I want to go away to camp, or I don't know if I want to go away to school, try it. And we push them out of their comfort zone and they try it and they survive. Somewhere along the line, we forget that we can do that too. And there is no time in your life or age limit barrier to stand in your way. That's just something we're telling ourselves, or we get comfortable. So a question that I ask myself, 2 questions when I'm getting ready to step out. And one, when I'm getting ready to step out, or when I'm getting ready to back out from stepping out, I remember asking myself, how uncomfortable, and I'm going to ask you, how uncomfortable are you willing to get to achieve what you want? How uncomfortable are you willing to feel to achieve all that you want? It's a great question to keep in front of you. It's not to make you feel bad. It's about to help you regroup, calm the fear, take a deep breath, pause, and answer. And you know what? If you're not willing to get that uncomfortable, then maybe it's not the right goal, desire, or action to take. And then the second thing that I ask myself, because people always say, well, how do you move through the fear? How do you get yourself over the hump to step out? A big question for me is, how will I feel? I had a coach, because coaches engage with coaches. And my coach, who actually gave me, who I trained for my certification, we had a final wrap-up phone call. And she said, what is your biggest goal, Jodi, right now? And this was about, I mean, where's my certificate say? This has to be like 4 years ago. I said, I want to be a speaker. I want to speak. I want to empower other moms. I want to make an impact like other women have made an impact for me. And she said, okay, what's keeping you from doing that? I said, I don't know. She goes, yes, you do. And I was scared. I was scared. You know, why would I have an impact? What makes me think I am the expert? All those things that go through our head. And she said to me, how will you feel tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, if you still haven't taken a step towards that goal? And that was a really powerful question to ask me, because I'd feel sad. I'd feel a little angry at myself. So it's not a question to make you feel bad. It's a question to have you stop the fear, stop the limiting beliefs that you can spiral. And it's to get you centered and focused and say, so how will I feel if I do go ziplining? It doesn't have to be the negative. It can be the positive. So those 2 questions are really big in helping you push through to step out. How uncomfortable are you willing to feel in order to achieve what you want to achieve? And how will it feel when you do it? And if it works for you the other way, how will you feel if you don't? Because sometimes how I feel if I don't, I realize, you know what, I've asked that and I've said, doesn't really bother me. So I know I checked that off my list. That's not worth it for me. It's not big. It's not something that means that much to me. So it can help gain clarity to ask those questions. So step 2, you've decided to do something. You're taking an action step. Now you got to step out. Okay, stepping out. I was not ziplining by myself, ladies. No way was I going by myself. So what's step 3? Find your people. Find your community. This is a community. Girls Night In Online, you stepped out and you joined Girls Night In Online as a place during COVID to find the learning, connection, and growing opportunities. People join Moms Who Dare because they want to find other moms who are embarking on the empty nest journey to do things. Think about it. We all know that women, especially moms, crave community. We thrive in community. And moms in particular, this is the hardest stage of life to find new friends and new connections, because we're not in mommy and me classes. We're not at the play group. We're not on the soccer fields together. Our kids are being launched. We're left in this empty space. We do have friends, but maybe that empty space has created a little unfulfillment within your crowd. So it's time to find and join a community that you can thrive with and you can link arms with. A community that will lift you, a community, and friends and community should lift you up. They should push you forward. They should link arms with you and hold you tight, cheer you on, and they should always challenge you. Always challenge you. You need to be challenged. And what I did was I put a message out in the Facebook group for my Moms Who Dare. I said, who wants to go ziplining? And 8 brave, daring women went with me to the kids' Elmwood Park Zoo, and we ziplined. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies. It was the most unbelievable. To this day, that has to be one of my most memorable experiences being part of this community and being the founder, was watching us all support each other. There was a lot of fear that day, fear of heights, fear of everything. And we just lifted each other up, pushed each other forward, gave each other permission that it's okay to go back and not do it. And at the end of the day, all 8 of us ended up doing it. And it was the most exhilarating feeling in the world. And as a leader of a community, it was amazing to watch the bonding that took place between these women. So you got to decide, you must step out and get comfortable being uncomfortable. And you find the people that will link arms with you and dare with you, dare into life with you. And sometimes the hard part about that, and I've had people ask me this, is evaluating who you hang out with, evaluating your relationships, making sure that they are not people that are going to make you feel as if you're not smart enough, make you feel like you're too old or it's been too late to do this. I was just looking at the chat. Sorry, guys. Really, those are the 3 steps for creating a daring life. And I just want to share with you that, you know, this is practice. I've been on this personal journey and working on my self-awareness, my self-talk, my mindset, my limiting beliefs, my fears, all of that since I was 45 and I'm 54 right now. It's a process, it's a practice. But I think the most important thing for me is surrounding yourself with the people that will lift you up. And yes, so I have a request. I'm going to type it in the chat. To share the steps. Step 1 is decide. Step 2 is step out, which is I'm going to put in parentheses the comfort zone. Step 3 is find your community. There you go. But yes, so I would love to open it up if there's questions, if you have questions in the chat, but you will get, oh, I just want to clarify. The Dare Plan workbook, it's posted here. You can download it. I think you're also going to get it in the email. That just takes you through a series of questions to help you create a deeper Dare Plan for yourself. So I would love to hear from you if there's questions. Yes, it will be in the email. The PDF will be in the email. If you have questions, if you have thoughts, anything you want to ask me about how I've been able to move through the fear. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for coming. You're welcome. I'm going to tell you something. You go, oh, I wanted to share. Can I share one more thing with you? Oh, I wanted to share a story. I have to share. So remember when I said our kids are always watching us, our grandkids, our kids? I don't think our kids ever stop watching us. Another thing that I realized is when I said yes to that direct sales company, it was even though I've been in sales my whole life, network marketing, multi-level marketing was so nothing I ever thought I'd be part of. And I struggled. I did really well I ended up doing really well, but I had moments of failure and failure, up and down. And, you know, my kids have been watching both my husband and I, you know, deciding, making decisions and stepping out and doing new things, and watched me create Moms Who Dare. They're going to watch you too, even when we think they're totally just wrapped up in themselves, because they can be. But the beautiful thing is when you realize they're watching. And as I said before, we ask our kids to step out of their comfort zones all the time. When they see you do it, there are moments that come from that. And I had 2 moments that came from that when I didn't realize my children were actually watching, because I was so wrapped up in my own getting through it. With the direct sales, I had been trying to promote to the next level, and it had been a struggle. And it was about to happen. And I was sick as a dog with a fever in my bed. And I had my business partners were out there handling it for me. And it had been a year and a half of trying to get to this place. And my son, I guess at that time, he must have been like 16. He was downstairs, and all of a sudden I got an alert on my phone that I promoted. I jumped out of bed. I'm like, oh my God, I promoted. My 16-year-old son came running up to me, threw his arms around me, and said, I'm so proud of you for not quitting, Mom. Hello. So they're watching. And the other moment came when my daughter said to my husband and I think you guys are having more fun now that we're gone than when we were home. That's a good moment to have. So whatever motivates you to step out and, you know, connect with me. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to help you with your DARE plans. But if there's no questions, I think we're finished, which is sad, but I really wish you all a daring life. Thank you. I got a hashtag dare on. Yeah, if you post something daring on Facebook, use hashtag dare on and hashtag GNI. Oh, let us know so we can find you. But thank you, Linda. I'm just reading all the chats. I really appreciate you all showing up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found value. And I hope you all dare on.